Hey guys, Eric Mashinsky. I am going to be giving you a quick video update today on just a few different things that are relevant. It's a very slow week and weekend, and then getting into next week. Typically, people don't just jump right back in their desk on Tuesday and get wild next week, although we should see things pick up. I think that we are going to see things really pick up, around the 10th or 9th or whatever of September, and it's going to be much more robust. For those of you that have been active recently, I think we've seen some things that have made it worthwhile for us to stay active. But what I want to do is I want to showcase and FYI, for those of you that haven't been to the website in a while, I still have the old school website set up. We're going to be refurbishing and relaunching this going into the new year. But we've got some awesome stuff on the blog, the videos, my Rick Rule, Rob McEwen interviews from Real Vision. There's other videos that are on there that go back, about a little over a year and a half. Interviewed about what's going to happen to gold in 2024 and all kinds of stuff. That was almost 2 years ago, actually. And a lot of that was very profitable for anybody who took the time to listen and actually had the same belief system and took some action. And then I'll just say, for those of you that are free members, if you want to subscribe to Premium or Elite right now, you're going to get some stuff that is very special, particularly our venture capital GIL premium portfolio, which has some of these tiny deals that you can end up spreading your money out. And this is where stuff like we started covering Metallis again at 4.5 cents, FKM at 4 cents, Soul Strategies that was there at a dime Canadian before it went to $6. There's other ones on there that are newer, others that are older that I'm down on my money on, but have deep conviction that somebody coming in today is gonna, I'll have to almost double my money for break even, and you could end up selling half, no risk, and then go for the ride. So I think that list alone, coupled with some of the alerts, and for those of you that watch the videos, I appreciate it because going forward, I'm going to be doing a mixture, but focusing more on writing because people will read the email and they get that information and absorb it, but they won't go ahead and click to a 15, 20-minute video. But I put a lot of stuff on video because it's quicker, it's easier. So thanks for watching. Make sure you're subscribed to the YouTube channel because what I've been doing from time to time is just activating it there, and then I get to sending the email to the free e-letter like a day later. In some cases, it's been very worthwhile to get that information first. So GLD, I'm just looking at this chart and I'm saying to myself, what's going to happen to gold next? Well, let's look at the weekly chart. Man, is this just set up to fly again? I think we're heading towards the 37, 3800 level next, and that could open up a very big can of money worms for some of our gold mining stocks. Now let's look at THM, which anybody who also watches the videos, and or if you're an elite and premium member in the last year, I pretty much can guarantee you 95% of anybody who's on that list is deep in THM. And they were actually given many opportunities to buy it even under 50 cents going back to last December. In fact, we had an elite carte blanche buffet all through this area here. Had a little spike in the 60s, but this was all able to be purchased. Then we got premium involved. The volume went up. It did spike, and I think after this dip is where I started talking about it with the free member. So hopefully, many of you are long THM, but the features that I've put out on THM to the e-letter, it's the difference is that when you hear about this stuff and me making commentary on my conviction levels and why, and you miss 3 write-ups and videos and or alerts from not being in premium, or elite, you're not going to be as heavy in the stock. You're just going to know that, look, if Eric's worth anything in terms of research and picking stocks, picking profitable trades, whatever, I'm going to put a certain amount of money into the things that he keeps talking about. That's the difference between premium and elite as well, is you get more of a substantial message and why that I'm going deep into stocks. And so look at this thing with THM. We are the number one performing development stage company. What do I mean by that? Let's look at like Seabridge versus THM. This is what Seabridge has done versus THM since the spring. Or if you want to flip it around, that's what we've done in THM. THM is the top performing percentage stock since we walked in the door late December last year, and for very good reason. This deal is going a lot higher. I've talked about the fact that, I am convinced at a minimum, even if we have an abbreviated bull in gold or whatever, or have a cyclical correction that's coming up sometime in the next however many months, THM is going to $3 US. It's at $1.38. So, anybody who's been buying this thing, I would do it now or never. Up to $1.50, you can still buy this stock, because if you want to buy some size, you can, and you can buy it up to 145, 150 while it's quiet, now. And once we get up to that 275 to $3 range, just sell off half of it in small pieces. And the reason why I've got that target, I mean, I've showed this many, many times. My computer is slow. That'll come up. But basically, I've showed this many times. There's a trend line that goes right to $3. But then I've also showed longer term charts where THM was trading over $10 a share in 2011. It's been 15 years. This reminds me of silver going to 50 and still being under 40, and people not realizing that silver's got so much in terms of legs going forward from this. And we also need to realize, this is my biggest message for people. The reason you're going to do very well in the space and with stuff that I come up with, this is not the chart I was looking for, because this goes this way and it's very clear to $3, which is just, I don't think, going to be any sort of a problem. Right now at these prices, you're still looking at around a $20, $21 an ounce valuation for THM, when it should be closer to the median in the sector, which is $80 an ounce. So, and that's going to rise as gold rises. And even if gold stays the same and we're playing catch up in the miners, you're going to get some major moves out of THM. It's my biggest pure gold position. Phenom Resources remains my largest position. I've been buying more. It's been weak. It's been a piece of shit. I realize that. You're going to start to hear about the recalibrated story as we go into September. And this is the bottom of the range in Phenom Resources. Word to the wise. I also just wanted to bring up Metallis, because we've seen a nice rip. I do cover this in the free e-letter, but if you were an elite member, for example, you got into this deal, elite and premium started to see this featured down here in early 24. I really turned up the volume, and this volume here is where I and other elite members started to really get heavy in the deal in this area here. And then it ripped up into the 20s. We actually priced a private placement right here. A lot of us got, cheap 13-cent warrants, I believe 17-cent warrants, 13-cent stock before it went to 36, but that was just on air. And so we let that thing come back down. There was another placement to drill Greyhound that we did at 17 cents. And I own, it's right at 2 million shares of Metallis plus warrants. I think I own like around 2.5% of this company. And I just got back. This is what I wanted to tell you guys for now. And then, there's going to be more coming on a lot of select opportunities. But really, guys, if you want to take advantage, what I was going to say, the reason everybody's going to do very well going forward, if you're following some of these ideas, is that we are in a bull market. This is a bull market after a 4-year brutal bear market. Even if you're in other stuff in gold and silver miners that has nothing to do with me, give those some time. I mean, if they're real dog shit and they're not going to go anywhere, you can take those as losses when you have the other ones as big gains locked in, whether that's this year or next year. Because you need to give this stuff time. This is not going to be an 18-month bull market and then it's going to go back into the crapper for another few years. This is going to last a while. And these things are going to go way higher than anybody is imagining, in my opinion, as time goes on, because the world is completely uninvested. Generalists are uninvested in the sector. So I just got back from Idaho. I met the Fiore Alaperte CEO of Metallis. I was there on Tuesday. We spent time with the owner of the Greyhound property. I've been telling you guys that I believe this is a very special, unique situation. The way that Metallis is developing right now, it really reminds me of when I started GIL, and I'm going to wrap this up quick. When I started GIL in 2012, and I had, a couple few hundred subscribers, I came across this deal called Zenyatta Ventures. It was very early. They had identified a new discovery in hydrometallurgical graphite that I thought was very, very interesting. All of a sudden, I had to become well-versed in graphite. But I could tell pretty early on it was very special. And then, look at things like the basics, the Lassonde curve. The Lassonde curve shows us that you can make the most money in mining stocks at two junctures. One is early on in a discovery. You're going to see, and in my experience, that's when I've made the biggest returns. And then after you come back down and have to do everything from PEAs, the feasibilities to funding and building an actual mine, there's a down cycle. That's where Giga's been for a couple of years. But building a mine and going into production right after that, you can see things resume higher, ideally. But to me, the biggest time that I've taken action in exploration companies that has paid off 10, 20 plus X, it's just where Metallis is right now. We've got a lot of data from their field programs at Greyhound. I met the owner of the land, the Yankee family. They're prominent in Boise. They took us through tours of huge factories and land and all the stuff that they own around Idaho. Even a gold mine that they're producing from. I had asked them, why didn't you do the same with Greyhound? And the answer was, I'm getting older and Greyhound's too big for me. It's a big, big deal. And so they're drilling right now. I was going to Greyhound yesterday. Was it yesterday? Wednesday, with Fiore in the car. There were flash flood warnings all along the way on a 5-hour drive to get to the project from Boise, and we aborted. And I'm glad we did. I will have footage and film and other things from, from the guys that are on the ground drilling. And I have 4 that Mr. Yankee had shared with us from Greyhound, and he split it open. I don't know if I'll put the picture in this email or not, or the video. It is chock full of silver. There's glistening silver everywhere. The rock that he grabbed and topped off for us to take home was well over 200 ounces per ton. Silver, which is all over this property. And I believe that Metallis is about to start on hole 3. I believe that what's going to happen is as they start releasing assays, maybe end of September, maybe October, this thing is going to utterly explode, because even though we don't have, nobody's ever drilled modern drilling on this project, but there's such high grade silver, antimony, gold, zinc all over this place. This was one of, if not the highest grade silver mine over 100 years ago. I mean, we saw 230 plus thousand grams per ton silver at the Bullfrog area, or is it Bulldog? They're drilling there next, I believe, but they're in these other areas that I just can tell you right now, hopefully you guys have already got positions in Metallis. I came out yesterday after some of the information that I was able to get and absorb. I moved the buy up to price from 25 cents Canadian to 30 for all of our premium and elite members. Those of you that are getting this that may not have a bunch, buy half of your position up to 35. At the end of the day, if this becomes half as big and exciting as I think that it's going to, it won't matter if you bought your stock at 20 cents, 30 cents, 35 cents, 25 cents. It's not going to matter. This is a multi-dollar stock. And let's see what happens. But I think also this is a perfect opportunity with Metallis where we're not going to be in this forever, because if they have a series of drill results after this program, maybe we do one more, like next spring, summer, or even try to get it in here right afterwards, then I believe they're going to get bought out. I think Hecla is the biggest potential buyer. Perpetua, it's only 22 miles from their stibnite mine, but for them to pay $100 million for Metallis would be nothing. And right now it's still under a $20 million US market cap. So keep that in mind. I have no interest. This is one of those that I'm not looking at selling anything anytime soon. So Metallis, keep an eye on it. Make sure you have some stock. Only go up to 35, which is the previous high. Let's hope that we get a bit of a consolidation and pullback for those of you that want to build a position. And then let's just wait for the drill results. And I'm going to be coming out with more with photos and videos of core. And you can see that I never really bet on core alone because I've had bad surprises where you thought there's gold, visible gold, and there's nothing. But in this case, it's there. Very high grade silver, antimony, and gold. So I'm going to keep it at that today, guys. And cheers.